drone expert Brett Velicovich is with me now. Brett, almost all the drones that Iran launched were destroyed before reaching their target. Are the drones no good, or is Israel's Iron Dome really good?
Well, first, I think we have to let people know that this was the largest single drone attack in history. So from a drone community perspective, that was very significant. At least we are living in an era of warfare, and Iran's drones are good. However, Israel just has better defenses, but not every single country has the capability to stop large-scale drone attacks like this, and that's what we need to take note of here. Many of Iran's drones have been able to penetrate Ukraine's defenses, for instance, despite there being multiple layers of technology that's used to detect them. And Iran, for years, really has pioneered the use and export of this lethal drone technology globally, and they've slowly been increasing this drone power, while many other countries, including our own government, has just sat back and sort of watched it without much concern. And Iran gained a ton of experience and feedback in the effectiveness of their drone technology based on their exports to Russia during the Ukraine-Russia war. And so these are the same drones that we saw Russia use near weekly in Ukraine that took place during the strike in Israel. And in this case, we saw Shahed attack drones that were used. These are not very large drones, but they can fly significant distances. They can fly up to 2,000 kilometers. They're about a few meters long. They have warheads up to 50 kilograms in terms of a payload that can conduct a very significant strike. They're low cost, they're disposable, and they fly at very low speeds. I've had Shaheds fly right over top of me, and you never forget the sound of those things flying. That's part of the terror that Iran tries to bring with these things, is they sound like lawnmowers, very loud lawnmowers in the sky that are flying right over you, and they have the ability to change locations and conduct precision strikes.
Let me get to the ballistic missiles. Half of the Iranian ballistic missiles that they launch failed to launch or crashed. What does that tell you about the quality of their weapons, the missiles, that is?
Well, not very good quality. Right. I think definitely this is a strategic win for the Israelis. They know it. It's a win for Netanyahu to help maintain his power. The Iranians, in this case, they were just unable to conduct an effective strike on Israeli territory. And I think we also have to give credit to a number of different international players that played a role, not just the U.S., but Jordan and France and the British as well, with their systems being used to thwart these attacks. The Israeli defenses are very strong. Again, they've got a number of systems out there. They've got not just the Iron Dome that we've all come to learn about, but they've got a system called the Arrow, which was developed alongside the U.S. and designed to intercept these long-range missiles, including ballistic missiles that are outside the atmosphere. They also have a system called David's Sling, which is meant to intercept medium-range missiles, such as the ones that are possessed by Hezbollah. You've got the Patriot missile system as well that can shoot down these drones. And we've even learned that the Israelis are developing a new laser technology called the Iron Beam, which is able to shoot down these missiles with laser technology. It can make the defenses even more cheaper than they already are right now.
Well, this is very reassuring. Defense technology won the day over the weekend. Brett Velicovich, thanks for being with us. You're an expert. Well, we'll bring you back again real soon. Thanks, Brett.